there, Sean Kevelighan again with another Executive Exchange. Today, I'm fortunate to be joined by Melissa MacDonnell, President of Liberty Mutual's Foundation and also Vice President of Community Investments. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you, Sean. So happy to be here.
Melissa, I'm excited to talk to you today because Liberty has recently expanded its philanthropy focus on areas to include climate and resiliency. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why and what led to this.
Well, Sean, I think that, obviously we believe that investing philanthropically in communities to help them mitigate and adapt to the impact of climate change is really a natural extension of the work that we do as a property and casualty insurer, and also an area where we can lend an awful lot of expertise. At our very core as an industry, we are about being there for people when they need us most, and also about building resiliency for people and for communities when they face really difficult events. So our model at Liberty Mutual is to try to tap the full strength of our organization on behalf of communities experiencing greatest vulnerability. And we do that a number of ways, from a robust employee engagement program to a significant giving program to publicly speaking on behalf of the causes that we care about and the individuals leading those, hosting convenings, and then also tapping the superpowers of Liberty Mutual to benefit our communities. So when you think about it, as an insurance company, we have access to, top climate scientists and robust risk capabilities. We have things like drones that can survey land after disasters, which can be incredibly valuable to nonprofit partners. When you talk about climate resiliency, we just have so much opportunity to bring the full strength of Liberty to bear.
That's really interesting. It does. It sounds like you're bringing it truly into your culture, which is key and important, but also then extending it, of course, into your customers and the communities where you work and serve. What about on the investment side? What type of nonprofits are you investing in at this point?
So, Sean, we have a three-pronged approach in our major investments in climate. The first is nature-based solutions. So, for example, programs that increase access to locally grown food, as well as increase green space and natural solutions for protecting against sea level rise or flooding. The second is green jobs. And obviously, green jobs are the jobs of the future. So organizations that provide training and skill development in the green economy for low-income, underrepresented youth and young adults. And then our third area is resilient infrastructure for low-income neighborhoods and communities of color. So nature-based solutions, green jobs, and infrastructure. And Sean, in addition to these major investments, we also provide climate mini grants. So any organization in our philanthropic portfolio is eligible for these mini grants to take a step back and think about how climate is impacting their organizations. So these are organizations that might be helping people who are experiencing homelessness or hunger. They may be workforce development, education. They may be basic services. They may be housing programs. And these mini grants are really our way of acknowledging that climate impacts all of us.
No, it is. We have been talking a lot at III about the role that everyone plays in climate and resiliency, because it is a collective responsibility, and it's encouraging that you're bringing risk management more into the communities and paying attention to those communities, quite honestly, that might not be able to provide themselves enough resources. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about some of the specific partners, because you mentioned partners earlier. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how that works.
Sure. Let me give you a few examples in our deep dive areas. So, for example, we support the Urban Farming Institute, which is a good example again of nature-based solutions. They increase access to affordable, locally grown, healthy food, and as well as green space and urban farms in communities of color. Another example is a program called the Youth Climate Corps, and that's a program of EC Farms, and that is an awesome example of green training. So it's an earn to learn environmental stewardship program for high school teens. So the youth, they tend the urban farms, they teach younger kids, K through 8 students, environmental education. They do food and climate advocacy. And they also offer tours of their geothermally powered greenhouse. So it's just super cool.
Yeah.
And another example in the sustainable infrastructure space is an organization called New Ecology, and they work in collaboration with our state office of community development corps and LISC, Local Initiative Support Collaborative, which is one of the largest supporting agencies for CDCs. And what they do is they create approaches to decarbonize and make climate resilient these affordable multifamily housing units. So it's we love to fund collaboratives because we just see such a bump. So those are examples of our deep dives.
No, that's great. It is. It's, what we've been saying that, climate has been, on insurance companies' minds for a long time, just given the losses that we've seen incurred over time. But now, you are seeing, and Liberty is certainly one of those in the industry who's taking a lead on this, and others are coming forward as well because they see the opportunity around climate resiliency. What type of advice do you have for other insurance companies and foundation leaders as they're getting started in this space?
So my first bit of advice is to carve out the time to listen. Don't jump right in. There's a lot of expertise out there. So listen to the community. And I also would just throw out to the entire membership that, at Liberty, we would be more than happy to talk about our journey. Obviously, we're at the front end of it, but would be more than happy to share what we're learning along the way. I would also say partner with public officials as well as community-based organizations. We are at an incredible moment in time where there's federal funding that is available for climate projects, and we have the chance as philanthropy organizations to really help organizations, as you mentioned, and communities leverage and tap into those dollars. So we can be a real facilitator in that equation. And I think, so I would say listen, learn, partner, and then I would just say, I think it's really important to recognize the disparate impact of climate in different communities. I have been taken aback, when I learned, for example, about the correlation between tree canopy and household income. Or when you look at low-income urban communities and the heat index and the lack of green space and the impact of that. So I think whenever you do philanthropy, it's critical, obviously, to understand the variability of impact and where you can have make the biggest difference. So that would be my advice to anyone starting out.
I can feel the energy and the excitement, and I love to talk with Liberty about it and other member companies as well who are doing a lot in this space because it is a real opportunity. So this is the part where you get to shoot a question over for me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Sean, based on just your conversations with so many insurance leaders, what are some of the ways that you're seeing insurers really step in and promote climate resiliency, particularly in low-income communities?
Certainly, we've said for a while with climate risk and resiliency, there's real risk, and there's also opportunity, of course. And we've talked a lot today about the opportunities that Liberty is seizing around the issue, and ways to get engaged. I think it's a great example of how our industry is coming together more and more and focusing on that community and that collective responsibility. Where the risk is, and where I talk to other insurance leaders, is just helping people understand the role that of insurance in this, and what it is, and I think it's really important that people understand how insurance works, because it's more so an effect of the increasing risk. And because we see as insurers increasing risk, companies like Liberty are getting in and rolling up their sleeves and doing something about it to help the communities better understand and manage it. And that's really where the focus is. And whether it's helping people foster better building codes, getting homes built in a way that, from a peer organization, the Insurance Institute for Building and Home Sciences, getting them fortified. All of these are ways that insurers are taking a more proactive approach to help our communities better predict what we know is coming and prevent large losses from catastrophe, because nobody wins in that case. And so, and especially getting in those areas that really, again, where the resources aren't necessarily there, as in some other communities, educating them, informing them, and helping them take action. I think that's where the industry is seizing the opportunity and will continue to do so. And, we look forward with Liberty and other insurers in late November. We'll be gathering our Climate Advisory Council and talking about this and doing exactly what you said, Melissa. Let's talk about this. Let's share best practices. Let's get out there and make a difference so that we, one, can predict and prevent what we know is coming, change behaviors with how we're living and where we're living, and so that we can truly become more resilient as a collective community.
Sean, thank you for your leadership and for all that you're doing at the III for the industry, for our industry, and also for our communities.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. This has been a great conversation. We're doing a lot of these, so we look forward to furthering this discussion around climate risk and resilience. And I'm Sean Kevelighan. Thank you so much, Melissa, for joining us, and we'll see you on the next Executive Exchange.